Hola mis amigas, welcome to the second of my PrepTober vlogs for NaNoWriMo 2020. Before we get into today's vlog, I just wanted to say a big thank you because over the weekend here on Careena's Adventures, we have officially hit 100 subscribers. Now that may not sound like a lot to you, but it's a very special milestone, so thank you to everyone for all of your love and support. I have really enjoyed being part of the uplifting and encouraging community that I have found through you guys here on YouTube. So thank you so much to everyone who is part of the Careena's Adventures fam. In last week's vlog, I was planning my NaNoWriMo 2020 and kind of coming up with a calendar setup to help me track goals and things like that. This week's vlog, I am going to be working on coming up with character profiles for my NaNoWriMo project. Now, as I talk about in this video, they're maybe not your typical character profiles because I tweaked it to where I thought maybe it would work best for me, adjusted some things, and so that will be in the video. If you are really observant and you notice that the timestamps for this video seem to correspond to the timestamps for the last video, like they're kind of right around the same time, that's because they are. I actually created the kind of calendar setup and the character profiles right around the same time, but I decided to split it into two vlogs just because the vlog would have been way too long if it was all in one, and I don't know about you, but I kind of like watching YouTube videos with like a clear theme. So enjoy watching me come up with character profiles for my NaNoWriMo 2020 project. I don't really like this at the top. Maybe I could just like, behold the beauty of a happy planner. I can just take it. Haha. I love the Happy Planner. And what's surprising is that like I thought that like the nature of being able to pull it out would make where the pages would get really rough and fall out. Honestly, like in my planner, like the pages have held up really nicely, so yeah. We're working on character profiles because even though I mentioned in like the first video, kind of the intro to my NaNoWriMo vlogs that I'll link if you want to go watch that if you haven't already. I mentioned in that video that normally doing character profiles isn't really for me, but since I'm just keeping like all this information here in my happy notes, I might as well create character profiles if it's gonna make me happy. There, I want a rough edge right there on purpose. There, that looks nice. What information do I want to have here? So something worth noting about what I'm doing with my character profile is that I'm creating prompts in the character profile that are more related to their journey and to the plot. For example, we have age, but I didn't just write like height, build, eye color. I wrote physical description, and the reason that I did that was because that gives me an opportunity to create basically what could be a piece of narrative, like an actual sentence or paragraph about how she looks, perhaps even specifically from one character's perspective that I could use. In fact, I need to move backstory. I need to get out my whiteout and move backstory down a little bit so that you can actually have more room for the physical description. And I left a whole bunch for backstory because I also want to write it in narrative just in case I want to copy paste that. And then over here, let me bring this up to the camera so you can see it. I have, sorry for the shadow, I'm really struggling with how to light whenever I'm doing vlogs like this. I have Act 1, Act 2, it's also really cloudy outside so that affects it, Act 3, and conclusion. And this allows me to write out what's happening to her, in this case her, Act 1 and Act 2 and Act 3, and then what the conclusion or like the lesson that she learns and the takeaway for the reader. I thought about including a spot over here for her misbelief and for her real goal, and I may do that, but I may just let that kind of explain itself when I start writing out the Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and conclusion, because I realize it might be really helpful for me to journal out, obviously in pencil, some of these things, but the trick is I'm making them relevant things. I'm making them things that are important to her and to the story versus just random facts like her eye color and her favorite food, which honestly aren't even important to the story unless I want to world build what she's been eating and have that be important for some reason. So now I'm going to obviously create these for the two other central characters. Actually, come to think of it, I probably will end up creating more of these than just the 3 central characters. I'll probably create at least 2 more for some very important side characters, one of whom would be, I guess, the antagonist, who I guess technically would be considered one of the central characters, but I don't understand him very well, so I'm not quite sure yet how key of a role he's going to play in the central plot, which I probably need to figure that out. But that's why we're coming up with plotting stuff, because then we can directly see how, say, the antagonist is going to affect the internal conflict of each of these characters, or how maybe he won't affect the internal conflict of each of these characters. And that'll be very interesting, because one thing that sometimes I've struggled with is having stories that are way too plot driven. And if my stories are too plot driven, well, then the characters suffer and you don't really learn anything by the end of the book. But if I bring everything back to how does this affect my character's arc, how does this affect what they're learning, how does this potentially boost them or drag them down in what they're going through and what they're learning, then all of a sudden I have something to ground it in, and I have something that's going to make that worthwhile or not worthwhile to put in the story. So, time to keep creating. I really like this washi tape setup. It looks very nice, very clean, and I have 5 washi tapes. I have, where did the 5th one go? I just had it, here it is. I have 5 washi tapes. I don't know if you can see. So for now, that's the perfect amount for the amount of characters I just said I needed to do. But continuing, and boy, I wish my camera didn't make that nasty angle. I was trying to keep my shadow out of the camera angle, because if I put you on the other side, then I'm casting a big shadow, because I have to face where the camera is facing and casting that shadow, and I'm obviously bigger than my camera and my tripod, so I guess this will have to work. So, I am not putting any of the character names or anything like that in the story, oh yeah, I'm not naming any characters in the story. I'm not putting any of that in my plotting notebook, because at the moment I'm trying to keep character names. Where does this washi tape start? There you are. I'm trying to keep character names and that secret for now, at least, because like I've said before, I do prefer to keep my projects a secret, especially because, you know, I don't know which of my projects will actually end up turning out and getting published. I mean, I know I've never published anything at this point, but I don't want people to be like, oh yay, you know, I mean, it'd be nice, but like, you know, for them to be excited because they want me to publish a book, but I don't want someone to be like, oh, you know, all these character names, like, is this a book you're publishing right now, you know, or, you know, maybe this is the next book she's going to publish someday whenever I actually have published. So I feel like it's just wise for me to keep some of that under wraps, is that the right phraseology? Keep some of that secret until at least a little further down the process, or until, you know, I've had time to, why did I just put washi tape at the top? Oh, because that is what I did for the calendar. That's the beauty of washi tape. Take it off. Yay. So, yeah, I am not filling any of that in. And two, you know, you never know. I have one character, the character that I did the last page for, because I liked, you know, I liked using that color, that design of washi tape for her. That character, her name may change, because I have an issue right now with all 3 of my central characters have M names, and even though one of the characters, I don't know that you'll be hearing her name until like maybe the very end of the story, that still, I know, bugs people, and I may find a way to get around that, and I may not. So her profile, it's probably best if I just don't have a name on her profile yet. So yeah, this is going to be fun, just creating all these little pages. Things like this make me happy. It's kind of silly, but just like creating all these matching pages in all these different colors, it's really fun to just do that. And then you can flip and like they're all in the same format. So you know, something I didn't think about, I might want to have more specific story beats. I don't know if I need to have inciting incident, you know, and dark moment and call to action for each one of these characters. Because that's another thing that I haven't done in the past. I have not broken a story down into story beats. I've broken a story down into acts, but I have not used each beat of the 3-act structure, like specifically like, okay, this character needs to have a dark moment, this character needs to have a call to action. I mean, the call to action, it's pretty hard to do without, but you know, I haven't been like, okay, when is each of these story beats going to be? And so, I don't know, I had set this up to be pretty generic, but then I don't want to have a separate one for inciting incident, or I could just write like, I write a generic thing of the act 1 and then write inciting incident, call to action. Maybe I'll just keep it simple, because you know, Careena, that in the past, too much kind of plotting and specific, you know, character stuff maybe hasn't worked so good for you, so maybe you can just keep it simple. And I just realized I had no thought for what order I'm putting all these characters in. So maybe I will put my main 2 characters first. So now I'll do, because those last 2 that I did, it's funny, I already have specific colors of washi tape that I want to go with certain characters. Oh great, I only have 2 colors of non-girly washi tape, and 3 of the characters are boys. Or men, whatever you want to call it. Not boys, but, you know, they are not girls. And I don't think that using this color for the antagonist would be so whippy. I'll just use this for the antagonist because he's kind of a visionary, so it says dream on. I'll just ignore the fact that it's purple. Maybe he likes purple. Maybe that's a random fact about him. Kind of a nice sound when you roll it off the roll too. Almost kind of like the sound that curling ribbon makes whenever you curl it. Oh no, sloppy handwriting. Not cool. Maybe try leaving a little bit less room for the conclusion and more room for the 3 acts. Okay, now we'll do the other guy. Not the antagonist. We'll do him last. I haven't decided yet, like, what I want to have happen to the antagonist in the end. Because originally I thought one of the other characters was going to be the antagonist. But then I came up with a different, maybe almost like another antagonist, sort of. But he's like, yeah. You can tell I still have a lot of plotting to do, which is, henceforth, why we are making this notebook. Because I still have, like, a lot amount of plot figuring out to do. And the problem is that I feel like this is kind of to a degree always been my problem. I have backstory, I have setup, and I have ending, all planned out either in my head or somewhere else. And I don't have any middle for my story, so that's not cool. But I will figure that out. One more. Actually, I don't know that the antagonist needs one. I will decide if I'm doing another one later, but you can see for now, I have 1, here, I'll kind of get a better camera view, 2, 3, 4, and they're all their own color washi tape. Yay. That's nice, I like that a lot. And I have some stuff I can just go ahead and copy in here because I like wrote out some narrative of their backstories that I don't even know will work in the story because I don't know if flashbacks are a good idea or not for this story because I don't want to spoil anything for the audience. But yeah, now I have that and I have that, so we're off to a really good start. So today I am in the right frame of mind for plotting and it's really nice outside, but I have a lot of stuff to get done. So what I did is I just made a little chart and I kind of worked in 30-minute time chunks. So I'm going to give myself half hour of story time and then I need to work on making some masks because it's 2020. Then I need to do some schoolwork grading and then lunch, getting ready for work and all that because I got to go to work at 3. So I need to hurry up and go switch the laundry so I'll be ready at 10:30 to go outside and do my plotting. I'll probably work on filling out those character sheets. It is like so nice out here. Like breeze, there's just a little coolness in the air, like maybe fall is finally upon us. Bushes actually make pretty good tripods. squirrels raining acorns on me. They just keep coming. At least it's just acorns. Okay, gotta go inside now to keep working on my other things I need to do, but I really liked this. I mean, it wasn't really a writing sprint, but I kind of like this whole 30 minutes of I'm gonna write time. And of course, the squirrels start raining acorns on me again. But I came up with the first page, the physical description and the backstory of one of my characters, which I already pretty much had figured out, but writing it out was good. And I did do the physical description written as a piece of narrative, like specifically when one of my characters meets him, so that way I can literally use that in my story. Work smarter, not harder. And then I wrote the part of the Act 1. I kind of did a basic, write out of what happens for him in Act 1. I haven't gotten to the Act 2, the Act 3, and the conclusion yet, because that's where it gets more complicated, because all the characters start interacting and I haven't figured out yet exactly what happens. And then I wrote out the Act 1 of one of my other characters. I don't know how I'm going to go about showing this to y'all, because I don't want you to figure out everything about my story. Because, secrets. But you saw the layout that I did, and I really like that, and I haven't been able to write their names in here yet because my calligraphy marker is running out of ink, so I'll have to get a new calligraphy marker. But yeah, I like this a lot. I like this layout a lot, so yeah, it's working pretty good. This is one of the acorn shells that the squirrels dropped from above me. That's pretty funny. Okay, so today I did my scheduling thing that I was trying again, where I kind of block out my morning in 30-minute chunks and see what times I need to be doing certain things, and that also helps me see at what times I might be available for writing. I hope the weed eater's not too loud in the background. So today, the time that I would have for writing in the morning would be while I was in the car. Don't worry, I'm not driving and writing at the same time. And so what I'm working on is I'm working on completing the character profiles, also figuring out what they're doing in Act 1. The next biggest thing I have to figure out with my characters is there are two characters that are basically together in the same place during most of the story. In fact, the one character, for lack of a better word, meeting the other character is really the inciting incident of the whole story. So I have to figure out how their relationship is going to affect the rest of the story and the rest of the characters, because they're on a ship. They're on a small ship. And so the guy that's in charge of the ship, depending on the choices he makes about where they go, that's going to be very important, because he's basically driving the story, because he's choosing where they go. And so he also does not want to be friends with the other character. He doesn't really want to be friends with anybody. And so I need to figure out how to play those things together, and also make where they end up in the places with the other characters at the right times, and like, when do the other characters find out about them. So I really got to figure out what I need to do for his character arc and for the other person's character arc together, because they're together and they're influencing each other, and then figure out how that plays into the other characters, which hopefully will be fairly simple, but it does sound kind of complicated. So I just need to work on their relationship and add more meat to their plot, and hope that does the trick, and then I can insert my side characters into their plot. And I might even just start by coming up with the Act 2 and the Act 3 of the guy who's in charge of the ship, because that will help me see his character arc, because I do kind of need to come up with his character arc before everybody else. So, making good progress, and it's officially PrepTober, so that's good. So I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Thank you again to everyone who has helped me reach this 100 subscriber mark, and stay tuned, because in the next video we are going to be talking about this beautiful color-coded mess behind me, my scene card setup, because it's about time we started figuring out the actual plot of this story, because we had a lot of figuring out to do. So stay tuned.